All right, Rich.
Talk to me.
Dizzee Rascal had an interview with
Slicker Derrick, ready for war, come with a conflict, never start arms for chase. If you know, you know. Okay, you don't know. Yeah. But Dizzee Rascal had an interview with Chuckie
yeah.
this
What was it
week.
saying?
Yeah, you know what? It was pretty good. He didn't go over the same old general stuff, what happened in the IB for no,
Napa.
was it I Napa, sorry. I Napa with Wiley and the
He's never spoke
so
about that, to be honest.
hasn't he? I
No.
thought it's always maybe it's other
Yeah,
people talking about
he's never ever spoke about it.
yeah, but he just spoke about overall in breaking through to the mainstream and how it was for him, and how a lot of record labels that he did approach, well, they who approached him really liked his music, and how they tried to change him massively into more of a kind of a pop kind of person. And he didn't really want that. He was really onto, The Boy in the Corner was a grime album,
Yeah.
and he tried, and some of the stuff they were trying to direct him in the direction to wasn't him. Then he finally found a label which kind of suited him, and eventually, as you do, you mature in your sound of music because of your surroundings. And he spoke about like linking up with Kelvin Harris, and I totally forgot that Dizzee Rascal had number ones.
Yeah. That's, bruv, I'm not gonna lie. Dizzee was doing bits, but I feel like Dizzee went popish a little bit though.
No, but he did eventually
Okay.
because his surroundings were different.
So obviously, I guess it's the same as what we talk about Jay. Like Jay can't talk about hustling coke and all them kind of things anymore
Correct,
because you're
correct,
not that,
correct.
bruv. You're on a different echelon of life. Like you got money.
No, yeah, correct. Exactly. So it was a different type of life, different kind of um different type of things. And he's talking about being in Glastonbury and
Mm.
one of the first black guys to do Glastonbury, and how he spoke about him and Chucky spoke about how Glastonbury's changed so much, how it was a case of just like most festival events, because it was just like, one day was the superstars, all the Americans, all the and the next day was the black UK rappers, the black UK grime artists. Now, a lot of the UK guys are headlining, as we've seen. Oh,
Mm.
Stormzy, this is what we're starting to see that, and how festivals have transitioned over the years. Yeah, and just it was just talking about stuff. It's stuff about how he's progressed and mentality wise. And you know what? He was saying that people call him ignorant, but he was just saying, well, you can call me ignorant, but it was just me being confident of my ability, but again, everyone can see it differently. If you've got confidence in yourself, people might not like it and then refer to you as being ignorant. But I get where he was coming from.
You know what? You're right though, because I think if I had spoke like say 5 minutes before you'd start speaking, I would have said, nah, Dizzy's not really my cup of tea, blah blah. Yeah. But actually, when I look back at it properly, like Dizzee broke down doors. Like first 3 albums, I was Dizzee Rascal all day, bro. I was get that shot, get that what? I was doing all of that. You get me? I was that guy, bro. I was like, do you get me? Like, and then it's weird because I think as I got older, and I guess like you said, Dizzee, his environment changed. So I remember going to Hackney Weekender, and Dizzee was like a surprise guest or surprise, like it said, is a mystery guest,
Yeah.
and he performed. Like I only went there because I wanted to see Rihanna, and like Dizzee came on, and I was like, I got to the front because I wanted to be at the front for Rihanna, and I was like, oh, don't. Dizzee came on, I was like, oh, I don't want to hear this, bro. I want to go see Wretch, and I
Yeah.
wanted to leave because I wanted to go see Wretch, but I knew that if I left, I
You
was going
wouldn't
to
get
give up
it.
my space for
Yeah.
Rihanna. But then I actually thought about it, like, and Dizzee, bro, he can F up a festival, bro.
That's what
Like,
I'm
you know,
thinking.
them man there, like the mosh pits, all of that kind of stuff. He had fully embraced it as a performer.
Mm.
Like, do you know what I mean? And I talk about stuff like Tiny Temper sometimes, and sometimes he's not my guy and all the rest of it. But actually, he's another one that his music now transcends that. It's like it transcends the urban scene, if that makes sense.
Correct.
Like his music is for the masses. It's popular music, like for Rachel in Leicester or Ricky in Edinburgh. Like it just transcends all types of, like when he comes out of a project, it goes number one, not because the black community has backed him. It goes number one because the community is like, do you get me? The nation has backed him.
Yeah, no, you're right. Then and you're right. The nation has backed him, and what he's done, like I said, he broke down barriers, and also like he spoke about being a producer, and not a lot of people realize he was actually a producer. So I think he put something on his Instagram maybe a few months ago about tunes that he made, and people messaged him saying like, "Hold on, you made these tunes." But to me, obviously, I knew, because it's like, I know Dizzee Rascal, I know what he's done because I was there from the beginning, and people were actually absolutely shocked. It was just like, no, he was an MC as well as a producer, and like Chuckie touched on a point about the Godfather of grime and stuff like that. And obviously, he wouldn't really mention Wiley's name. He didn't really want to talk about Wiley's name, but he just said that, it's all good calling yourself Godfather of grime, but where did you get these kind of sounds from? Who started the sound? And everything resulted down to what he was doing, and how, when you're part of a crew and you all kind of bounce off each other and then use the same sound or have the same kind of flow as a lyric and stuff like that. So he was saying, well, it's quite, especially when he founded certain things, and to call himself the Godfather of grime. And what he said is he's not one to pay attention to social media in the sense of what people think of him, because that's what Chuckie was kind of saying, like, well, do you still listen to grime? Do you still listen to what people say about you? He says, no, I don't care. I'm here, I've got a career. If I cared about so much what people in the grime scene said about me, I probably wouldn't have progressed. I would have probably had the negative attitude continuously. And I think that's a good way of seeing it, because yes, you come from grime. He doesn't really listen to it as much because grime's transcended. You can't listen to, okay, you can listen to it now because obviously stuff is on YouTube and sets and stuff like that, but he was used to Deja 923, Rinse 1003, stuff like that. So he said music's changed a lot. And what was funny? He said he listens to drill, and I laughed because I thought of you. Because he goes to me, when he heard drill, he didn't understand it. He couldn't work it out. Because just like some of the Calvin Harris tunes he heard in the beginning, he couldn't understand the music. It's like, bro, what are you playing me? Get out of here. Yeah. And he reminded me of you. He said drill, when he first heard drill, he didn't like it. He didn't want any part of drill. And then it was kind of not forced upon, but he heard one particular tune. Just like in Funky House, I think Fish Go Deep was my Funky House tune that got me into
Cure and the Cause.
Yeah, that got me into it. And he said that he heard one drill tune and then fell in love with drill. And he absolutely loves drill. So yeah, he just spoke about how music's changed throughout the career. And now, like, obviously drill's come off the back of grime, because there's a lot of drill artists which are originally from grime, just like how a lot of grime artists are originally from jungle and garage. But it was a good interview. It was a good interview, and it's I haven't seen Dizzee Rascal. I'm going on a bit. I haven't seen Dizzee Rascal in an interview for a while. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Dizzee Rascal in an interview. Listen, I love Dizzee Rascal. If I ever made a tune of Dizzee Rascal, do you know how happy I'll be? Dizzee Rascal, are you listening, please? I want to make a tune of you. I'll do anything. No, honestly, Dizzee Rascal in a rave, he could say, Merv, he can say one, like, four words. Yeah, I swear to God, the whole rave was go absolutely mental. Listen, I start sweating, take my hoodie off, and all sorts. It's like, oh, and literally the whole place will go mad. Like, listen, I've got love for Dizzee Rascal, despite me not liking much of his work nowadays, because he's transcended so much. But I'm always be a fan of Dizzee Rascal. Like, he's made albums. He started his own label, put stuff on his own label. So yeah, I think it was a good interview. So if you don't know about Dizzee Rascal, it's good something to check out.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, definitely check out for Dizzee Rascal still.